Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Big Bite Baits. Jordan's with me this morning as always. We're on a delayed basis today. We got mashed by the internet yesterday, so we didn't get to go on. And so we decided we posted it up, come on 10 o'clock this morning. We apologize about the problems yesterday, but it's just what it is. Sometimes you can't control things, Jordan. So anyway, talk to me a little bit. I think first thing I might go over this morning is that we got our hat in, one of the Paragon hats that we had been out of. It's in the black and gray. It's a really neat looking hat. It's got the snapback on it. It's a Richardson, as you can see. I really like this hat. This is like my second favorite hat we've got. I like the black one, but I also like this one too. I think it's very functional and it won't get dirty real bad and that type of thing. So if you hadn't got one of these, I believe they're on now, Jordan. Is that right? They're on site. How much are these priced at? Do you know?
I think they're in the 20s somewhere.
Somewhere in the 20 range. So anyway, check it out on the internet if you're interested in this hat for sure. Okay. All right. Now we got that one. Let's get down to business. How about questions from last week?
Sure, I have several. Let's see.
All right, good. Let's talk about it.
Man, where should I start? How about let's do one from JJ.
All right, JJ, talk to me.
He's wondering what lures are best for the end of fall.
We've talked about this, and I know Dean last week talked a little bit about how the Shad Gang up in the backs of the creeks. And, normally I use like a square bill or use a rattle trap type bait, it's called a rattle bait or a buzz bait. And then I usually follow up with a plastic behind that. And that's kind of how I attack the fish. And, obviously you look for the shad. When you find the shad, normally you find the fish. So that's kind of how I would answer that. You can cover a lot more water using a moving bait than you can a plastic. So that's kind of how I'd approach that. And then once you get there, you can slow down.
Okay, this question is going to go right into our topic today.
Oh, good.
TX Fisher is wondering, what's your favorite way to rig a trick stick?
Okay, well, we're going to show you several different ways in just a minute, but I normally rig my trick stick Texas rig, and I like to use a real light lead on it, like an 1/8 ounce or a 1/16 ounce, just enough to keep it under the water. And I fish a trick stick a lot around grass. Of course, I have used a trick stick on the back of a Carolina rig before. I mean, there's really no rhyme or reason. You can do it however you want to, but normally if I'm fishing a trick stick, it's going to be on light lead, somewhere around cover, and I just, I want to kind of keep it subtle. So that's kind of how I handle that.
Okay, that's it for right now.
What I thought we'd lead into today now, if you haven't noticed on the website, Jordan has posted up a new group of icons. It's called Riggets. And you go up on the top of our website and you mash the button that says rig it, and it'll take you to a screen where, what is it, like 30 different styles of rigs,
Close
Jordan?
to that, yeah.
Where what it does, it's animated. And you can say punch on Texas rig, and it shows you exactly how to do it. And then it recommends some baits that we recommend out of our line that might work good on that type of rig. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to try to do here the next 3 or 4 months, about every other week, we're going to try to cover a rig. We'll do our usual bait and color shows and that type of thing. But we're also going to highlight a rig and a way to do it. So today we're going to talk about the Texas rig, as it might be. So that kind of follows back to the question we just had. And we're just going to show you the 3 baits that we recommended off our site to use Texas rig style. And then a little bit of how to do a Texas rig. And there's no rhyme to reason. The thing I like about a Texas rig is you can rig light line or you can go as a heavy line. It just depends on what type of structure you're fishing. I mean, a lot of times I'm fishing like 17 pound on my Texas rig because I'm fishing either brush piles or I'm fishing like on the ledges and that type of thing. Or if like when I go to South Texas, I might rig up as high as 25 pound line to handle some of those big heavy duty fish they have down there. So, or if you go for on the opposite of the spectrum, if you're up north smallmouth fishing, you might be using 6 or 8 pound lines so that the line won't be visible. So, there's a lot of different ways to do a Texas rig, but your basic rig is very simple. I can kind of spell it out in this terminology. First, we'll start with your lead. Most everybody uses a bullet lead. So you pick your style. You can use a heavy or a light lead. That's up to you depending on the depth of water you might fish. This right here is a 3/8. I got it rigged up to fish on a ledge with, so it's a little heavier. Okay, the second thing you want to talk about is the style of hook you want to use. So there's basically 2 types of hooks that I would recommend you using. One is the old J style hook, which I have right here, which it's shaped like a J. And that's the one that is kind of an old school deal that a lot of people still use, okay? And the other hook that you might choose to use is an extra wide gap hook of some variety. Now that's personally what I like to use, okay? I kind of left the J hook several years back and went to the extra wide gap simply because you got this extra this extra room in here, so when your plastic slides down, it helps you give a better, helps you give a better hookup rate, I think. And you can use this in a super line or a regular line. So, and the same thing here. So you kind of address your situation and hook to what you're comfortable with, and then basically the strength of the hook that you want to use. So anyway, I've got 3 rigs I'm going to show you today that we recommend. If you go to our site, we recommend a B2 worm, 10B2, okay, and we recommend a Texas rig in. I've got it rigged here on the J-style hook with a 3/8 ounce piece of lead. That's your typical Texas rig. That's real productive on the lake I fish on for sure. So you can go that route, okay? The second thing we did was like a couple of shallow type rigs. So I went to my old standby, the Fighting Frog. I put it on a wide gap hook. I put a 3/16 ounce piece of lead on it, and it's ready to go if you want to go shallow water fishing, okay? So all you got to do is throw that around the grass, around the trash, and catch fish on it, around blowdowns, that type of thing. It works real well. And then the third thing I thought I'd show is a Texas rig basically with no weight, just a Senko or a trick stick as we call it, done with weightless to throw in shallow water. And you can even go and put like a 16th ounce or an 1/8 ounce piece of lead on that. So that's kind of what I wanted to show today. And I also have it on a wide gap hook. Okay, and you can use either style of hook you like to on that as well. I think that's more of your personal preference kind of deal. Okay, so that was some things I wanted to share that I saw on the Texas rig. I've been fishing the Texas rig for many years. That's probably the first way I actually learned how to fish. And then like in the 90s, we went through the Carolina rig phase. Everybody was Carolina rig fishing. You don't see as much Carolina rigging going on nowadays as you did back then. But the one thing that's kind of held pretty consistent is most all fishermen throw a Texas rig of some variety at some point in time during the year, depending on whether they're fishing, blowdowns or grass or out on deep water, just depending. I think it's a real universal rig. It would probably be one of the first ones I would go to if I were learning to fish, or if I'm a tried and tested fisherman. It's something that you have a lot of confidence in because you get a lot of bites doing that. So, and the nice thing about the Texas rig is we just showed you this morning, you can diversify it and you can fish shallow, you can fish deep, you can fish light line, you can fish heavy line. You can adjust it to fit whatever situation you need to use. Okay, any more questions we got today, Jordan, we might want to touch on?
Right, just something to expand on our bigbitebaits.com/rigs is where to find this.
Yeah.
And then we have so many other baits we recommend. So talk about another couple ways you could fish this. Like you could do a weightless on top with a Texas rig.
You could.
You could do a swim bait on one.
Well, you could do that. But one of the things I see we didn't put in this line, I think would be real good. I fish personally on Texas rig lots of lizard. A lizard works real good, especially in the spring of the year. I like that 8-inch creek tail lizard that we make. That works real good on Texas rig, And then actually you can even go to a bigger lead than this. I mean, I've used up as much as like a 3/4 ounce lead. The deeper you get, keep it on the bottom. So that's some things you can do. So there's a lot of different avenues you can pursue, when you start looking at that for sure.
And then one more expanding question. Can you talk about the colors you have here?
Okay, yeah. Right now this is a June bug B2. That plum apple color we make also is real popular. Here's your green pumpkin trick stick. We have like 50 colors in the trick stick. Watermelon red, green pumpkin, of course, the old standbys are the better sellers. But there's a lot of other colors. Your tilapias, the tilapia magics, I think that work real well in that. And then, of course, the old standby Fighting Frog. This particular one's in Dean Rojas's favorite color, the bruised melon. And, I like this bruised melon color. I love a tilapia Fighting Frog. It works really well. And the hematoma one in muddy water works really well. So that's just some colors you can start with and look at. But that bait, that's to me, and I've told y'all this 100 times on the show, best bait we build for sure.
What does that bruised melon color consist of?
It's a watermelon red swirled with hematoma. So it's kind of a mixture of both. It's pretty neat.
Okay.
Works real well. All right, good.
I got another question here from M.L. Harmon is wondering, how do you get a Big Bite catalog?
Just pick up the phone and call us. You can get the number off the back of the bag and just pick up Big Bite and call and give us your address and we'll send you one out. No problem. Free of charge. And catalog has all the baits we make in, has all our bass baits, has all our crappie baits in it, has all of our terminal tackle. Everything that we manufacture here at this company is in that catalog. Clothing. So just, anytime you need a catalog, just pick up the phone and give us a call and we'll take care of you.
And another way, just bigblackbaits.com/catalog. You can fill out the form online too.
Okay, so that's another way to pick it up, definitely. Well, if that's all we got today, Jordan, we'll call it quits, and we'll look forward to seeing everyone next week, and y'all have a good week.